Just did a series of deliveries that, I don't know, doesn't sit well with me. So my first delivery, the bookends, the first one and the last one, um, make the point really, really well. The first delivery was for an elderly, like legally blind guy. So there was all these special instructions in there that had been set up by somebody else. How to make the delivery and you know all this. Okay, so we have this perceived vulnerable member of society um, being being cared for. You it wasn't him that set up these instructions. Somebody did that for him, and um, we're using a delivery service to bring him his dinner and whatever. And it was a very low. There was no tip. There was right. Not necessarily. I'm not expecting any of that. It's whatever. The rate of pay for that was very very low. Right. So I imagine it's more expensive than if you could go to the store yourself. But honestly, like all told, it's probably cheaper than trying to figure out how to get him to the store, or because he can't drive, you have to find a driver for him. Like, okay. So basically, we're taking care of this guy, man. We have mechanisms in our society set up to take care of this man. And that's a good thing, right? Now, my last delivery of this run of, I don't know, 4 or 5 deliveries, um, as I'm coming out of the restaurant with the food for my customer, um, I hear my car door close. It's very distinctive. My car's doors move in a very specific arthritic way that yeah, it's clearly my car, my 43-year-old car. And I look up and I see a man walking away briskly from my car. And there's a split second where I'm like, maybe I misrecognized this sound, and he's actually getting out of the car that's right next to it. But then he proceeds to go away from the parking lot, away from the streetlights, into the dark, into the dirt and rocks, into the trees. So yeah, pretty clearly this guy was robbing my car. Now, I'm holding a lot of food. Turns out that this is food for like an entire family of like 5 or 6 people. I'm holding a lot of food, but I pursue the guy a little bit, and I ask him, "Oh, what are you doing in my car?" No response. And now by this point, my feet start hitting the rocks, where out of the parking lot, and so I ask it again, and it's clear now to him that I'm following him, and he actually responds. Um, he says he was he was seeing if the keys were in the car. So I was like, well, why? And he says, I'm just that kind of a person. And this is the thing. This is the thing that hits me right here. I'm just that kind of a person. No. No, you're not. That's not what makes this happen. You don't go onto other people's property and attempt to steal their things just because that's who you are. There's a deeper reason. So my next question is, well, do you need any help? Do you need any money? He says, no. And I repeated, do you need any help? Do you need a ride somewhere? He says, no. So, he's now getting further away from me. I can't really. I never saw his face. I never saw anything like that. So I just shout out like, "Well, take care," and I get back in my car, and he's gone through everything. Everything is, you know, there wasn't much in there, but all of the things that were in there moved around. He stole the charger cables for my phone. The adapter to the lighter, which is maybe $2 at a gas station. Like, whatever. I hope whatever he does with that, it helps him in some way. I've had shit stolen out of my car before. I've never actually, walked up on the scene and caught the guy, but yeah, no, that where he says, "I'm just that kind of person." And I think he believed it. I think that's the tragic thing to me, is that I think he believed it. Because he said it so casually, so nonchalantly. That's the thing that got me, right? There's the vulnerability, the exposed vulnerability of being robbed, and, there's all that shit that I also feel, but no, that's the contrast between this is a young man, probably in his 20s, healthy. Um, where's the support for him? All right, we care about this elderly man who's visually impaired. We have some degree of a system set up to take care of him and help him out. What about this other guy? What's going on with him? And I have no doubt that he thought that if I caught him, I would call the cops on him. But I wouldn't. Because honestly, in this situation, that's not going to help anything. What, he's going to end up getting arrested. What does that do? What does that help? It doesn't help me in any way. I'm not really harmed. There's, this is a very minor, like, okay, you stole the phone chargers and you moved some blankets and trash around in the cabin of my car. Okay, that's not much of a crime. I can weather that. That's fine. To call the cops on him, and what, he goes to jail, and now for how long, and all this paperwork and God knows what, and if he resists, he might end up getting murdered by the cops, who, whatever, will of course justify it, and maybe whatever. That doesn't help anybody. Clearly there's something wrong. This guy does need help. But it does strike me as a very distinct possibility that I'm the only person who has wished him well and asked him if he needs help in a very long time. Right? If this is what he's doing, who is going to do that? What kind of a person is going to go out of their way and say, okay, I know you just robbed me. I know you just violated my space and whatever. with the intention of, stealing my car, stealing God knows what. But I still wish you well. Who's going to do that? No, I think in his world, he is the villain. And he does need help. And he does need support. And it's not there. It's chronically missing. I don't know. That's about this situation, that's what hits me. Not the fact that some shit was stolen out of my car. Like that happens. You know. I'm probably gonna lock my car for a little while. Just because, there is that part of my mind that's like, oh my god, no. It's kind of a quiet part in the corner, but I'm still gonna satisfy it by locking my car. But that's probably not gonna last all that long. Like, whatever. Shit gets stolen. It happens. I don't know. Is it worth being part of a society that allows this, that creates this situation for people? Should we be proud to be in a society like that? I don't know. There's a lot of questions like that just unsettle me about this. I don't have answers. Just, yeah.